Good morning, traders. Today is Thursday, April 1st. No April Fool's jokes. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Okay, so real quick here, because the market's going to open in like 5 seconds. We do have a small gap higher this morning, so the first thing that will be in play is gap rules. Assume the gap will fill because they only have to push it down a couple bucks. So you'll be looking for an auction that pulls back, that gets us to the high of yesterday, that fills the gap. Once the gap is filled, what happens? Does the market find support here? If so, you go long with it. If it fails, you go short with it. Okay? That is the gap fill. We are opening outside of yesterday's range. We're above yesterday's range, so that increases the odds that we should be looking for trades first thing in the morning. There'll be good opportunities. We have now repaired, because we opened above it, this week reference and the poor high. Okay, so we still have a small gap. We still have a couple ticks to fill the gap. So overnight inventory was relatively balanced. Oh, I'm sorry. No, overnight inventory was 100% net long, but it was balancing in the way that it moved around. So again, expect a counter auction, a small counter auction to the 100% net long overnight activity. Market internals opening bullish. Okay, seems like the overnight high is currently acting as support here. As far as my guess of what to expect today overall, I assume it's going to be a bullish day, right? I assume the market's going to trade higher. We're in all-time highs right now at this very moment. Okay, that gives a bullish sentiment. And we have value higher yesterday. That is often a trend that continues for at least a couple of days. So if we assume, because value was higher yesterday, we broke out of a range, we made all-time highs, that probably the trend will continue at least for another day, if not longer. So I'm feeling bullish, but of course I don't have any market-generated information just yet telling me to jump into a trade. First thing I'm looking at is the gap fill. Market comes down, fills this gap to yesterday's high. Does it become support? I would go long. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Holy moly. We got some life in the chat this morning. Good morning, Dr. Vijay, Kai, Gianfranco, hi, Mediterra. David. Good morning, Deke. Pavel, good to see you. From the Czech Republic. Nice. Fausto. I didn't sleep in, bro. I was in the shower. Okay? Don't judge me. Don't judge me. Angelo, good morning to you as well. Trading Donkey. Good to see you. Better late than never. Phoenix, I think if you just go to the Pirate Traders like YouTube page, the homepage or whatever, it'll show up whenever I set it up. I usually do it like the night before, but sometimes I forget and I do it like 2 minutes before the market opens. So that's your best bet. Miles, yeah. So the fact that we opened above the poor high meant it was repaired, right? We just have to, we want to go above it in the regular trading hours. So opening above it counts as the repair. Good morning, Philip E. and Philip M. Welcome to the Phillips. Welcome, Jeff. Good to see you. Good morning. Michael. Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems that way. The market loves big round numbers, so 4,000 is the next one. Do we get there today? Could be. Could be. Oh, yeah. Could definitely be. Shane, good to see you. Good morning. Fausto, thank you for the thumbs up. 22 likes already. Guys, I loves you. Thank you so much. Good morning. NLB 74, welcome back. Good to see you. Asif, good morning, sir. Armando, good morning. Robert, welcome. Crypto, good to see you back, brother. Philip, twins from another mother. Okay, so the opening drive is bullish here. Looks like a pretty big gap on the NASDAQ. Let's go look at the NASDAQ. Okay, yeah, so huge gap on the NASDAQ. Of course, it has much more volatility than the ES. So to me, this seems like an insanely enormous gap, but maybe it's no big deal for the NQ. Yeah, lots of excess in the NQ here. One assumes you'll need some volatility to the downside to repair some of this. But as always, let's be open to whatever the market wants to do from its perspective. Don't love the taper here at the lows. 600, 600, 100. I really think the market needs to pull back and do some business here. So that's what I'm waiting for. Do you mean with all the excess, John, the FOMO gets rewarded? The expression that Jim Dalton uses is like traders will do what works until it doesn't. They keep doing the same thing every day as long as whatever they're doing is working. They just keep doing it. So if being super bullish yesterday and making new all-time highs worked, and it did, right? It was definitely, if we go back and look at yesterday's profile, like this push higher was like insane, right? This was like way overdone, but then we just spent so much time up here that we brought value up, and then we accepted the higher prices, had a liquidation, ended in the end period, and then the overnight was like, thank you. We know where we want to go. You're right. The SPX is on 4,000 right now. Let's see what they do with that nice round number. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put myself as bullish here because I do feel bullish. But I want to remind everybody that doesn't mean jump into a long trade, okay? Because I do think the market needs to come back and test the high of yesterday here at 39.84. So any real upside, I think, first we'll have to come back and test this. But the tone feels bullish to me. That's a bummer. Does anybody here have Tradeovate? Do you guys, are you down? All my brokers. Jeff, how many brokers you got, bro? What you doing? That's good. It always sucks when stuff like that happens. Like every now and then, like your software won't open or it needs to like install an update, but you're like running late that day, and you're like, "Fuck you! Don't update. Just let me work. It's market open." And it's like you start your day stressed out. Like you start your day with like a little tiny bit of anxiety. I think that's the worst. Stan, good morning, brother. Welcome. All right, for the couple of people that have just jumped on here, whilst the card at the bottom says that I'm feeling bullish, I am waiting for a test of yesterday's high. I do think the market needs to pull back, put a little more volume in here, and then we'll see what happens when we test this high. My guess is it becomes support, not literally right on the high, but somewhere in these little nodes of volume from the overnight. Market kind of pulls down, does a little churn, little chop, and then boom, right back up. So that's what I'm looking for to go long. Ratish and Chris, good to see you guys. Good morning. Good morning, relaxed Keith. You came to the right place. We love to be relaxed here. So welcome. Chris, how big is your stop loss? Well, I'm not in a trade, so I don't have any stop loss. But as I talk about on this channel all the time, my stops are different for every trade, case by case basis. I just always have a stop. I always have a place where I know my trade is wrong. I'm wrong. I need to get out of it. Okay, well, we may not get the test of the high from yesterday. It seems like they're bringing in volume here. Literally, as I say it, it pushes down to do it. Great, great, great. But the only downside to this is if we come down to test this level, we're going to get 2 ticks below the A period, which will begin one time framing lower. So I will leave a bullish stance if we're one time framing down and go back to neutral. But be keeping a close eye on the market finding support. However, right, if the B period gets 2 ticks below the A period, finds support, and then rotates back up, we will be rotational right from the start of the day. So that increases the odds the market will rotate. Stan, that's awesome that she was part of the team that put that together, but bummer about COVID. That's strange, Phoenix, because I have CQG through AMP and no problems there. RK, no, I disagree with that completely. This was just a little opening drive, right? You saw it start like 2 minutes before the market opened. The market was grinding down here, and then like just before the market opened, they started to push it higher. So that was just kind of a continuation of that. Now they're looking for support, right? That little initial excitement buy, those people who FOMO'd in, they got in a little too early. So now they just need to let price settle enough to bring in more buyers, right? But I do think there's still much further moves to make. John, if it's gunning for your stop's too tight, right? If you're going to go long somewhere in here, you got to give this thing room to breathe, right? The market from here could pull all the way back down into, I mean, you could honestly pull down into like where the POC from yesterday is and then find support and rotate right back up. So I wouldn't have a stop so tight that the market can't pull back at all. You'll get whipsawed that way. All right. Market really is finding support here in what is now the value area. It's so strange how specific the levels have been this morning though. Like this level right here, like just became absolute resistance. Every time they poked at it, it couldn't get any higher, and it's now happening with this level down here on the downside. What does that mean? I have no idea. But somebody's doing something. Thank you, Salmon River, sharing some positive vibes in the chat. Love it. All right, so now we are one time framing higher, right? A trend has begun to the upside. What are we looking at? Value is higher today than yesterday. That's bullish. We had a gap higher. That's bullish. We had a failure to fill the gap. That's bullish. We had a pullback that found support prior to that gap. All of these things look bullish. So I see continuation higher. Miles, I can't tell you how to take trades, man. It's you have to figure out what works for you. What is your system for taking trades? If it were me, I would have been going long in the pullback that failed to fill the gap. But, I just listed a lot of bullish things, right? Got the gap, got value higher, got the trend higher, one time framing, bullish internals. So you go long wherever you think you want to go long. You'll know the trade is wrong if the market comes back down to the high of yesterday and then fails and continues lower. So if that's how you trade, then you would put your stop below there. But if you're the type of trader who can't afford to lose more than a few ticks, maybe you put your stop below halfback, right? Because there's a lot of volume in here. You'd hope that if the market pulls back down into it, that's where it finds the support somewhere below halfback. So maybe you put your stop right there. Each trader is different. And as we get more and more people asking me about my trades, I'm getting more and more nervous because I don't know you guys. I don't know how you trade, so I don't want to give advice that's going to hurt you. Just trust your instinct. All I can tell you right now is the market generated information is bullish. The stuff I'm looking at is saying the market wants to push higher today. So you take that information and you trade with it however it fits your style. Holy moly, guys. I was fixing me some coffee and y'all were being good people. Thank you so much, RK, for the $10. I really appreciate it. And Trading Donkey for the 5. That is awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Trading Donkey, I just see your comment now about investing advice. No, no. That's not what's happening here. Thank you, Stan. As always, hyping the likes. Love you, brother. RK, thank you, man. Practicing what you preach. I love it. No, the volume doesn't jump out at me as particularly bullish or bearish in any way right now. But for me, it's really the fact that we had so much excess in that push higher yesterday and then found, support. Like the market accepted those higher prices. That to me was very, very bullish, right? But we left that poor high behind. Okay, so when we had the liquidation late in the day yesterday, that to me was the liquidation off the poor high, right? Poor highs often cause the market to push away first, then it comes back to repair it. So that to me was the push away. And so I kind of last night was like, let's wait and see what the overnight does. If the overnight pushes us back up into this range, that would be very bullish. And then, of course, I come and look at my computer this morning and we're above the whole day's range, right? So that to me, it just started off the day looking very, very good, looking like the market wants continuation. This is a new trend, right? Balance leads to excess. So if we zoom back, okay, and we remember we were stuck in this balance area right here. Sorry, give me just 1 second. I'll get that drawing tool up. I know you guys love my artwork. So yeah, we had this balancing area right here. And yesterday we broke out of it and then found acceptance higher. So balance often leads to excess, right? The market keeps pushing higher, and then at some point it balances again, right? And then now I can't move both these at the same time. I just totally messed myself up here. Yeah, so you got balance, then you get excess, then you get balance, then you get excess. Like that's how the market moves higher. So the fact that we started the process of excess yesterday makes me think it'll continue in the days to come. For how long? Who knows? But that's what I think is happening. Zoo, here's the thing about upside targets when we're in all-time high territory, when we're in blue skies. I'm not good at them. I really don't know. So, I know the most reliable, in my opinion, the most reliable thing to look at is Fibonacci extensions based on previous pullbacks. But I'm just not good at drawing those. So generally on a day to day, I'd be focusing on one time framing, right? I'm long the market and I just wait until one of the time frames trades below the previous low and then I get out. Will I catch the high? Of course not, right? I'll probably be way off from the high, but it'll keep me in the trade since I don't really have a target to the upside. But that being said, if anybody wants to jump in the chat with some fibs, with some targets to the upside, obviously 4,000 is the first thing because it's a nice round number. But what about after that? Parlin, good morning, sir. And just for the record, if the advancers versus decliners can stay up here, I guess it's got to get above 1,500. But if it can stay up at these levels for the rest of the day, that's a just buy every dip, sell every rally kind of situation. So something worth keeping our eye on there. Okay, lots of single prints left here in the B period. So odds favor the market trading down and filling these single prints. Look for support at the halfback or the base of the single prints, which are basically the same level. Loudmar, thank you for those fibs, brother. Appreciate it. Deke, brother, thank you so much for the $5. I really appreciate it, man. And happy Easter to you. I won't be trading tomorrow. I'm taking the day off, so I'll use this opportunity to offer a good Death of Jesus Day to all of you tomorrow and a happy Easter. Okay, well, as much as I want to trust this push higher, part of me feels like we should have filled these single prints. The day's not so crazy bullish right now that it should be leaving single prints behind. So I think it might be possible we get another pullback to half back. Made a good high, good excess on the high here. I think markets are open tomorrow, like for a short period, like a shortened day. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not going to mess with it. I'll just step aside, take the day off. And thank you guys for answering his one time framing question. My little community is growing so fast. Well, there you go. So the markets are closed anyway. So I'm right. I'm taking a day off whether I want to or not. I guess I could get up and just trade crypto instead. But no, I could use a day off. I have traded crypto in the past, but I don't anymore. I own it as a part of a long-term portfolio, um, but I don't trade it intraday or trade it swing trading anymore. I used to do that. I just kind of decided to focus instead on the S&P 500 and never look back. Trading donkey. I was just thinking about that like yesterday. You know, it's like these NFTs conceptually as an idea are amazing, right? I love it. I'm fully on board. I'm fully behind it. And I do think about it exactly the same as like a person buying a painting that there are prints of, right? If you buy a famous Monet or some shit like that, like sure, there's a million prints of it out there, but you want the original actual painting that the painter himself painted. So the concept of them makes perfect sense to me. But like the ones that people are buying, it's such a frenzy. It's so ridiculous. It's like you could literally just open up Photoshop, Make the simplest shit and just people will buy it because they just think it's guaranteed to go up. It's so silly. It's amazing how irrational people can be when they get greedy. Jules, how so is that your weekend sorted? Going to be looking up NFTs of people's feet? Is that what's happening? Jules, yeah, no doubt. I think that's a great idea. I mean, it's you don't even have to make good stuff. That's the ridiculous part. Just make anything, commit a few hours of your life to making a few gifts, put them out there and then start raking in the dough. They just throw money at you. But in all seriousness, if you figure out how to do that, Jules, tell me how, cuz I'd love to set one of those up. I haven't even looked into it. Yeah, you guys should just take screen grabs of my chart throughout the day and try to sell those as NFTs. You could call this one time framing higher with single prints below. Uh, yeah, the one that stands out to me is the most interesting is like GIFs and memes, right? So like let's say we all know what we're talking about. Okay, those single prints are filled. So let's see, does the market find support here at the halfback? So yeah, the idea is like, let's say you make one of those funny gifs, like the one with the old man who's like holding up the thumb, and it's been turned into like 10 million different things. So the idea is that like if you owned the rights to that, the original one, you could then go after. Obviously, you're not going to go after Joe Schmo who's just posting it on Twitter. But like if a big corporation were to post it on their, Twitter or whatever, you could go after them to get payment for it, which you can do with things like music and software and stuff like that. If I edit something on Premiere Pro, but I edit it on like a student version of Premiere Pro, it's embedded into the metadata. So if I try to publish that to TV or whatever, they can figure out I didn't have the right license and make me pay for it. So this pretty much exists already for everything else other than online images. So I think in that regard, it'll be huge in the future because it'll let the creators who make the original thing that gets stolen and then remade a million different times, it'll give them an avenue to go after at least the bigger players that are using their thing. Oh no, it's not laggards going long here. Now it's people buying the dip. It's the smart traders that waited to fill those single prints that are buying here. So in terms of that way of looking at it, you'd say the A period was like the innovators pushing it higher. The B period was the early adopters stepping in, pushing it higher. And now the people that are buying this up, they're the early majority, right? So you'll get a move that's very easy. It just floats up very easily, and then it starts to grind a little more. That's when the late majority starts to step in. And then at the end of the day, with whatever kind of crazy spikes you get, that's where you're getting the laggards. The laggards they're not even ready to buy yet. They need to see the market go up and up and up first. Deke, the get it was not necessary. But solid joke. Guys, it's okay. I have a subscription to Premiere. I pay for the full software. I'm just using it as an example. Is that oil? Oil's getting hit? Bummer. Trading Donkey, we've been over this. I did pay for the software. This is a trick. They're trying to get me to pay extra. I already bought the license and I'm using it totally fine. This is just they want extra money. They want to squeeze me. I will not be squeezed. Don't worry about the different colors of the letters other than the blue or the greenish, whatever you would call the A and the B here. That's where the point of control is. That's really the only one you need to keep an eye on. The other day after the market closed, I went in and switched all of these to just white, thinking like maybe that'll be easier for people, but I couldn't do it. My brain is just too used to seeing it like this. So basically the different colors, the darker red, that's the most volume, the purplish, that's the middle, and then the white is the least volume. And so it's the same thing. It's just showing you within the 30-minute period what the volume was like at those levels. But I don't look at that at all. I'm only looking at the color of the POC and then the color of the volume bars on the left here. Okay, so we filled those single prints, which is bullish, found support just above the halfback, and we continue to one time frame higher. Jules, yeah. I have taken 3 trades. I bought a dip, sold a rally, bought a dip, sold a rally, bought a dip. And I'm currently long the market. It's been just over a year. I took my first market profile class in March of last year. So, John, if you don't mind me asking, 93 is where you went long. So you went long here. Why take profits after only 4 ticks if it's a trending day? Right? If you know the market wants to keep going higher all day long, why get out of your trade? John L., I agree. Nice big round number. They love that. The question is, do we get a bunch of resistance here, right? Are there a bunch of sellers just waiting? Dump, 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 dump. Okay, broke that 4,000 level. Let's see what they do with it here. Michael, I'm not sure what that means. What do you mean regular tape speed? Okay, so the market has pulled the POC higher. That's, another indication of a trend day. We'll just keep pulling that POC higher and higher. Still one time framing. Does look like the NQ wants to roll over though, doesn't it? Still holding that trend, but it just looks nasty. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I don't really feel like the market has, just for me personally, I don't feel like it has a regular tempo. I feel like there's different tempos for different moments, and that's one of the things you look at to figure out what's happening, right? When the tempo slows down significantly, what does that tell us? There's a lot of uncertainty in the market. People just don't know what to do. They don't know to go up or down. When the tempo gets crazy fast and just starts shooting up, that's emotion, right? That's people getting too emotional and just smashing the market button to just get in or out of a trade. But I don't know that I would consider either one like normal. It's just kind of, you get different tempo all the time. But it's a good observation. Yeah, did anybody think 10 years ago you'd see the ES at 4,000? Did you even know what the ES was 10 years ago? I didn't, but I'm saying if you did, would you have thought it? Thank you, Algo, and thank you, John. I really appreciate it, man. Much love. So I just posted that Discord link. Also, I came up with this idea last night, so I've just added another like channel inside the Discord called Community Coaching. I thought it might be good for people who have like issues that aren't technical, like not a place to ask questions about like trade setups or you know things like that, but a place to have a conversation about your own personal growth in you know trading and your psychology and stuff like that. So if there's things like you essentially need to like ask questions, does anybody have any advice on you know this or that, or things that are more like about your approach to being a trader rather than necessarily your strategy of trading, use this community coaching section, and then other people can jump in and give advice. I think that might end up being a very powerful tool if we can continue to support one another. So I just added that in there. And then also there's the share your trades. So if you want to just post your trades as you're doing them, you can do it right there. If you guys find cool educational stuff that you think people might like, go ahead and throw it up in here. In the education one, news, if something pops up that seems really important, you know, pop it up in the news. Phoenix is good about that. And then, of course, the general chat, talk about whatever you want, post your memes, go nuts. Thanks, Algo, for stopping by. Oh, Monk, I know, man. It's crazy, isn't it? John, the short answer is no, I don't think so. Back in the day, it would have been, but you know, in these money printer goes burr times, I don't think a new all-time high really matters to anybody. It's more the underlying factors that are pushing the market forward. Ryan, that's a good T-shirt idea. Wahoo! New high. What dip can I buy? You can see that on a shirt, right? I'm not cheesy for thinking that that could be a shirt. Wahoo! People would write Wahoo on a shirt. All right. So now the question is the market done trending? Is it trying to go rotational here? Looks like on the candlesticks it wants to roll over, right? We got lots of good excess here, and we did get right to that magic number, right? That 4,000 number the market was targeting. It didn't bring in any kind of crazy short squeeze to the upside, so maybe it just kind of ran out of steam. We'll know we're getting rotational if the D period gets 2 ticks below the C period. But as long as it stays at least even or 1 tick lower, the market will continue to trend higher. The red bars next to the letters just show you where the single prints are. Just makes it easier for your eye to catch it. So the green ones show you the ones to the downside. The red ones show you the ones to the upside. And then if you have one left in the middle, it's yellow. Looks like this here. So it just helps you to quickly recognize their single prints. No, I'm not familiar with NinjaTrader. I've never used it. So I don't even know if I don't think they have market profile on NinjaTrader. Um, but yeah, this was all custom programmed to look just like this. So I didn't do it. So if you wanted to, in theory, if you have market profile software, you should be able to make it look something like this, but like they may not have that feature. They may not point out single prints or whatever. I'm pretty sure that Window Trader is like the most advanced of them, and that's why you've got all the little doodads. But you don't need that. You can see single prints by just seeing there's only one letter. Awesome, Philip. Yeah, I just signed up for Tradeovate, and I just for the purpose of checking out their profile and seeing what it's like. I just funded my account today, but I guess they have like a 5-day hold if you use the ACH transfer. So probably next week I'm going to give that one a try, see what it's like. And then the next one I'm going to do is Sierra Charts and try that one out too, just so that I can be able to comment when people ask me questions. Lahab, I don't have any good resistance levels above because we're in all-time high territory. So I'm instead focused on the one time framing. Right, I'll just stay long until we get that cessation of one time framing. Yeah, thanks for the heads up on the Sierra charts. I actually get the platform for free through AMP Futures. So I don't know. Do you have to pay the 60 to get the market profile feature? And yes, it's 100% worth it, in my opinion. Even paying for Window Trader is totally worth it. And same thing with like Jim Dalton's classes. I remember when I was first streaming, like I was probably like a month into it, and somebody said to me back then I was showing my trades on screen, and somebody like jumped on and was like, oh, like I think it's ridiculous how much money he charges. Like it's like over $1,000 for a course. And I was like, bro, look at my screen right now. I'm up by 3 grand on this trade because I learned from him. Like you have to think of these things as an investment. But fuck Windows, I'm not activating it. Okay, it's like $100 and I'm not doing it. Yes, sir, Algo. That is one great point. I can still look at the structure of the profile as it's building throughout the day, but I don't have good targets above. So, yeah, it's not a perfect system, but other than Fibonacci, I don't really know anything else that's great in blue skies. Oh, well, I don't physically have a stop on the trade right now, but I would exit when we got the sensational one time framing. Get 2 ticks below the C period, and I'm out. Or actually, to be honest with you, knowing me, I would just let it go against me and just, I wouldn't care because I know what happens in rotational. So I'd actually probably just not even stop out. Let it go against me, add to it when we get under value, and then take profits on the rotation back. But I'm a killer. Don't try my way. Put a stop, get out of the trade. 100% Parlin. If it goes 2 ticks, it means we're rotational. Well, Philip, one thing that you will find the more time that you spend watching Market Profile is that you don't have to feel like you're watching chop, right? We can clearly see we're watching a trend higher. We can tell that because of the one time framing, because we keep pulling the POC higher, right? Because we're building up more volume up here than we had down here. So we can see the acceptance. So to us, it's not just random grind. It's pulling back, they're buying the dip, it's pushing higher, then pulling back, they're buying the dip, then it's pushing higher, right? Rob, no problem, man. Ask all the newbie questions you can come up with. There are other newbies here who might be too shy to ask, so definitely ask them. Yeah, each letter that you see, each TPO represents a 30-minute time period. And then the candlesticks over here are 15 minutes. Yes, sir. The NQ is rotational. I don't know what exactly dictates excess here. I assume it's way more than 2 ticks, but that's got to be enough. So yeah, now that that market is rotational, so look to buy below value and sell above. And I'm also going to just go ahead and move my stop to a tick above break even on my trade here, just in case that causes us to get a couple ticks below the D period and we go rotational. Hello, Alex. Welcome. All right, yeah, I'll jump back to NQ in a second. I just want to see if we get the cessation one time framing here on the ES. On the ass. Miles, yeah. I mean, I don't. So here's the thing on a rotational day. So, like, let's say the day goes rotational, right? So this is the POC here, right? You could get a lot of times where the market will just grind up and down inside this blue box, inside the value area. And so but you never know like where it's going to turn around and go back through the POC. You know, like you get just different levels each time, and sometimes it goes higher. And so it's like it's hard to know where to go long or short at the highs or lows. So I always wait, and it's just a patience thing. I miss a lot of trades. I will admit there are opportunities that I leave behind because I wait for this, but I wait for it to get above the value area high, and then I look to go short, and then below the value area low. So for example, let's say the E period were to trade down, it gets the sensation of one time framing, it comes down to here, and then it gets below value. Now I'm not going to put in a buy order right here, but I'll watch it. It comes down and then starts to come back up. Anywhere in this range, anywhere in between where it's low and back into value, I'll go long with it. Just like I'll hit the market long button. And then once it pushes back up into the value area, I'll kind of just start like a little trailing stop myself. The target is the POC, but just in case you don't get there and it rotates back up and starts coming down again, boy, this is getting messy. So just in case like I go long here, it starts to get into the thing, it could turn around here. It could turn around here. Like, so I target the POC. That's what I'm aiming for, but I'm also ready to get out of the trade to take profits very quickly. That's the difference between the way I trade on a rotational day and a trending day like today. A trending day, I literally just put in the order and just sit on my hands. And just, I stay in it as long as humanly possible. But when it's a balancing day, a rotational day, I'm ready to get out of a trade instantly. In and out very quickly, depending on what the market is doing. That's just my personal way of trading. Yeah, I can get behind that algo. Got all this volume in here, right? That should become support. So if that fails, we're going to go test the gap. If that fails, yeah, further downside continuation for sure. No, Jules. I start every day completely neutral. I start every day not knowing what it is until the market tells me what it is. So I don't think it's rotational or trending until I find out, which usually happens in the B period, right? The only exception is sometimes you get an A period and then the B period is inside the A period, like it doesn't go higher or lower. Those are tricky because then it could break out one way or the other. But other than that, you pretty much always find out in the B period, whether it's trending or rotational. Or sorry, you at least find out if it's trending, and then you just follow the trend and see how long it's trending until you get that sensation. Then you know it's switched to rotational, which is the most common thing. The amount of time that a market just goes straight up all day, very rare. Like, 5%, very, very rare. But what is more common is it starts trending and then at some point in the day it goes rotational. Or it starts rotational and then at some point in the day it trends its way out of that rotation one way or another. That's a great question. So yeah, the purplish ones right here, these ones are the regular trading hours, and then the bluish ones over here, that's the overnight profile. So I split the two up. Tricky day, guys. You got the ticks are kind of trending down, but the others are trending up. You got the NQ clearly pulling back almost to its low, but you got the ES holding the one time framing. A tale of two markets. Somebody asked to see NQ. Let's go check it out. Okay, so yeah, the NQ is now just starting to trade below its value area. Definitely looks rotational. Remember, the NQ had this insane gap from today. The gap on the ES is like 2 points. This is a big gap. So it has a lot more excess that it needs to balance off. So it would make more sense that this one pulls back even below its lows, and then it rotates kind of in this area. Whereas the ES can come right down to maybe 2 ticks below its low and find support at yesterday's high. But we still one time frame. Just got a notification. Jim Dalton's webinar starts in 13 minutes. If you want a free webinar with Jim Dalton, he'll spend the first 10 minutes advertising his products to you and then probably give some great free advice. What would Jim Dalton do? I love it. There you go, Algo and Rob. The community supporting the community. I love it. Problem solving by the day. Just saw something pretty cool. Looks like they're going to make micros for Bitcoin. Huh? Pretty exciting. Coming next month. Hopefully you won't have to have $100,000 in your account to be able to trade them. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. Sweet. Ah, geez, it's 1/10 of a Bitcoin. That's still a lot. We'll have to wait and see. John, yeah, the webinar is on, you go to jimdaltontrading.com, and then it should, like, as soon as you click on the website, it'll pop up with, like, hey, do you want to join the webinar? You can probably also go to Jim Dalton's Twitter page, which his handle is just Jim Dalton Trading, and sign up. I think it starts in 2 minutes. Jeff, that would be awesome. Only 2K of margin? I could trade real Bitcoin futures that aren't some exchange in, China? Awesome. I really do think it'll be a game changer. It'll bring a lot more people into the crypto trading world. Sorry, Hooligan, that I missed that one. Yeah, you better off just Googling it. I don't know off the top of my head. Um, does anybody know when do the futures close? Is the overnight trading tonight and then closing tomorrow, or is it done today at like 1:15 West Coast time? Philip, it's 200 grand to trade one single Bitcoin contract. That's the margin. 185,000. That's fucking insane. I mean, I know there's lots of traders out there that can do that, no problem, but yikes. Cool. So you got till 9:15 tomorrow morning to trade the futures. Okay, so yeah, this market is tricky right now because it looks like it's rotational, but we know it's not. We know it is slowly but surely, begrudgingly trending higher. And what do we always say? As long as the market continues to one time frame higher, well, as long as the market continues to one time frame higher, price will continue to push higher. We kept the advancers versus decliners kind of not exactly pegged, but pretty close to pegged up here. We're now seeing an uptrend in the ticks. You can see the lows are creating a trend. So whilst it looked like it was rotational, really it was just building up steam, just slowly working its way up. Yeah, crypto techie. It's a good question. I do at some point plan on creating some kind of monetization system. I don't know if it'll be a service. I don't know if it'll be educational content. I don't know. Right now, I'm just more focused on trying to build a community, trying to get as many people involved, build some hype, kind of I'm just working on building something. I don't know where it's going to go in the future, but of course that's on my mind. But no plans as of now. Yeah, that's why I never tried to learn to read the tape. It's too confusing for me as well. It comes off as too random too often. That's what I like about the market profile and Jim Dalton's way of looking at it. It just simplifies everything. I don't need to know what's happening on the tape or why. I just see what's happening here. Yeah, the thing about Jim Dalton is, and he talks about this in his webinars and stuff, is that half the people who take classes with him hate it. Like they feel like they didn't get anything from it and it was a huge ripoff. But the half that get it all have like a lifelong, like they have an absolute change in the way they trade and they become a whole new different type of trader. Um, and you don't hear about that with any other sort of like online gurus. Almost all of them, it's like people take their courses and they'll have a small handful of people that will be successful from it. And those people they'll be very loud about how successful, five out of a group of 100 people ended up being. Um, but Jim Dalton's the one where it's like half the people that take his course, it changes their trading forever. So he definitely offers something unique. Yeah, Jeff, it's the exact same thing for me. I tried every indicator under the sun, tried them all. And even after I started trading with market profile, like I couldn't give up on um, RSI and MACD. It was like I just could not take RSI and MACD off my chart for like months and months and months. And then I finally was like, I feel like I'm missing out on trades because I'm not getting the confirmation in the MACD or whatever. So I just got rid of them, and oh, what a relief. So yeah, it's and the thing is that's confusing is like there are people who use all those price action indicators successfully. There are people who make lots of money using nothing but VWAP or nothing but moving averages or nothing but, whatever indicators we're talking about here. That's why they exist, because there are people who make money with them. But it's just not as easy as you think. So yeah, much better to learn how to look at the market, understand what's happening in the market, and then create a trading strategy around that as opposed to a specific indicator. That's just my take. Yep, Jeff, you are speaking my language. I'm every day trying to explain that to people right here on this channel. To not look for trades, look to understand what the market is doing, and then the trades present themselves. It's hard. It's hard to wrap your mind around. It sounds so simple, but to really grasp it, it just takes time. Okay, looks like they're going to take an attempt at repairing this poor high. Yeah, it's a great idea, Armando. That's something I've definitely thought about is like do the first hour of trade live for everyone. And then, you have to pay for a subscription to watch the rest of the day. Those features aren't available to me yet, though, until I'm able to monetize by YouTube standards. And you have to have 1,000 subscribers. So I'm only halfway there. But yeah, once I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll have options like that. And I appreciate you saying you'd pay. That means a lot, man. Thank you. Yeah, Sanju, there's no link. You have to sign up for it. You can probably go to his Twitter account, which is Jim Dalton Trading is the handle. Yeah, Salmon River. That's so true. It's not that there's no randomness. It's just that when there's randomness, you can recognize it because you're like, oh wait a second, this isn't normal behavior. It's learning what normal behavior is, particularly with things like liquidation breaks. I remember for years I used to get so upset when the market would be trading one way, either balancing or trending higher, and then out of nowhere at the end of the day you get a massive sell off, and then price would come right back up. I would get so fucking angry and be like, "Why is this happening? Like, what's going on? This doesn't make any sense." And then I learned that liquidation breaks are a perfectly normal part of market structure. It's just shaking out the weak hands, bringing in stronger hand buyers. It actually strengthens the market to have a sell off like that. So it's like little things like that, man, they make a world of difference. To just be able to, in the moment, while something scary is happening, recognize, oh no, I know what this is. It's normal market behavior. I know how to play it. I'm good. That emotional control is fucking magic, in my humble opinion. Oh, Monk, I'm just happy to hear that people are talking about me in chat rooms. I hope they're only saying nice things. But yes, I try to keep it calm. That took me a long time to learn to do in and of myself. But yeah, I'm glad if I can help. Yeah, Lewis, I wouldn't go that far. Jim Dalton is still the master. So, yeah, he's probably giving a lot more information than I am. But thank you for the compliment. We got the one single print left here in the F period. That will likely need to get filled. Also created a little poor high here. So is the move coming to exhaustion, needs a pullback, or will we continue to one time frame higher? Jonathan! Happy 4,000 day. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Welcome. And Lewis, thank you, brother. Keep it up. You're bringing me peoples, obviously. My channel's growing every day. So please keep it up. To be honest with you, at this point, the webinar is probably almost over. It's been a half an hour. He usually only goes for like 40 minutes. So you may have missed this one. But if you just go to jimdaltontrading.com, there's like a tab at the top for webinars, and they'll post it like in an hour or two, and you can go back and watch it. Philip Munoz, thank you, brother. $10. I really, really appreciate that, man. And it is my pleasure. Feel free to ask all the questions you'd like. Also, I'm just going to gently kind of just nudge it out there that I've added a way to make donations with crypto in the description below, and I've never seen what happens if somebody does that in the tip jar. So I'll just put that out there. I'm just going to put that out there. We don't know what happens. Could maybe be cool to see what happens. I'm just putting it out there. Phoenix, what a great question. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Sounds like a challenge for the chat. Yesterday's challenge, 100 likes. Today's challenge, overflow the tip jar. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Yeah, one Bitcoin to be fine. Just throw that in there. Or more appropriately, probably 0.00000001. It reminds me of that line from the second Matrix movie where that guy is like, "My favorite language is French. It's more fun to curse in. It's like wiping your ass with silk." So yeah, my cursing is like wiping your ass with silk. Enjoy. Don't worry, Phoenix. You don't owe me anything. You contribute enough to the chat to more than justify, your place here. I'm honestly finding that that's like at first when I first started streaming, the most important thing was people hitting the like button. I'm now coming to realize it's the chat. It's like people staying active in the chat and answering one another and paying attention to it. That's actually really helping in a big way. And you're a big part of that. So you don't owe me nothing. There we go. Rocky did it. Thank you, brother. $5 in ETH. And it tells me the exact amount of Ether. Thank you, Rocky. You are the man. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it popped up like it normally does with the dollars. It just also mentions it has like parentheses around the amount of ETH. Cheers, bro. Yeah, the real question is how much gas did you have to pay to send the $5? that's that's the interest because gas rates have been so high on ETH lately. It's like you probably had to pay $10 in gas to get a $5 transaction to take place.